public Wi-Fi, it's, I believe it's welcome, all lowercase, and then CHV uppercase letters. I think that's it. I wanted to just make it password or 1, 2, 3, 4, but our IT guys wouldn't let me. They said it had to be a little more complicated than that. It's, I believe it's welcome, all lowercase, and then CHV uppercase letters. Oh, there we go. I think that's it. I wanted to just make it password or 1, 2, 3, 4, but our IT guys wouldn't let me. They said it had to be a little more complicated than that. We are indeed streaming on YouTube. Hold on. Okay, that should prevent the feedback. Allison, can you still hear me?
I can.
Oh, but now you're muted. Why are you muted? How do I do this? Hold on, let me. CHV uppercase. Sorry, Allison, hold on 1 second. That one?
That's new, right?
Okay, we're streaming, but I lost Allison's audio, so I have to figure out how to get her audio back without the feedback.
Okay. Can you just watch YouTube?
Yes. Okay, so now we're streaming, good. And come back to to get Emily. Just came from up there when you did whatever you did. Because that's the feedback from the streaming. So I can't get Allison's audio back. Yeah, can you ask if she can come in? Hello.
Hi, I'm Pamela Hall. Hi, Pamela. Sarah. Nice to meet you, Sarah. Hey. How are you? Good. Open up our station too. Okay. Yeah, well, I was completely under. Oh.
And Kendall said that she would either be in person or join by Zoom. So hopefully one of those two things happens soon. And then I'm trying to figure out how to get Allison's audio to come through without the feedback from the streaming.
She doesn't come in a second.
Okay.
So far? What? Have you been enjoying summer so far? It always goes by too fast, even these years. Yeah. Have you been road tripping? A lot of people are doing that, so getting on the plane. Where did you travel to?
Oh, no, we don't know. Sorry, no, I mean, my road tripping has been on a flight.
Oh, that's even better. That's even more healthy. Good for you. How about you, Kathy? Have you been?
Yeah, we went up to the mountain last week up to Devil's Ranch.
Oh, isn't that lovely? I enjoy it.
Yeah. It did hatchet throw.
Oh, that's hilarious. I would have put out a shoulder during that, I think.
My husband was like really good, and I only hit 1 out of 30. And one of them, because I even had a double joint interview, was so wild that I went up the hill and I almost killed a chipmunk. I think it's
Oh my God.
and with just half an ear.
Oh, my goodness.
And then we tried flies this year.
Oh, that's fun. Yeah.
It was good to get out.
Yeah, absolutely.
Oh, yeah, we go up to winter time,
Yeah.
snowshoe.
Is there, was there a restaurant?
The ranch house is not, they kind of moved part of that food over to the Hex Tavern. They only had like 50% occupancy. Because that's what it was at.
Because I was looking at this one.
Sorry.
No, you're fine.
So I have it muted because if you don't, you have the feedback coming through.
You shouldn't. Do you have the video playing in another, like, do you have YouTube open or do you have?
Yes. Is that what I need to do? Is close YouTube?
Either mute YouTube or close that.
Can I just close it and it won't mess?
Oh, yeah, it'll just keep running.
Okay. All right,
So
try
should be
that.
good. So you should be able to unmute it. It might take a second, but.
Okay, Allison, hopefully you can hear us and we can hear you now.
I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, yay.
Woohoo.
And no feedback. Okay. YouTube is the last stuff. Thank you.
You're welcome.
Okay.
Yeah.
I will-
Yeah.
Oh, okay. Thank you. Okay.
I don't know, we flew out to Southampton where I was the last meeting, and I would say that it's really fun, except people are always rushing on the plane.
Yeah.
I mean, we don't always spring for business class, first class, but we did, so on the first day. And I'll share a row with my daughters, they're small,
Yeah.
we're fine,
Probably
but
start. She comes
anyway,
We have a
I just
quorum.
found that even though they loaded back the plane first and the front of the plane, party first, even just in business class, everybody's rushing. I'm like, why are you rushing? Like, people have to be constructive. Exactly. If you really want it, I mean, you still wouldn't have like perfect 6 feet the whole time. But it took us all the time. I was like, oh, we're here. And they all pop up and get their luggage. And do you really have to sit the first row, go, second row? Like, people are just, I'm like, wow, you guys.
I think we can.
They can't even wait a few minutes. Like, it's just, otherwise, I thought they were right there.
Yeah, I think as soon as you guys want to, we're still waiting for Anne Marie and Kendall, but we have a quorum, so we can start whenever. We've got Allison, she can hear us and you can hear her. So, but just everyone remember to use your microphones. Yeah. You guys ready? And just remember to use your microphones, please. We have Allison on the, I'm sorry. You can put them all on at once now. They expanded it so that, yeah. So if you have the red, that means it's on.
Okay. The Monday, July 27th, regular meeting of the Cherry Hill Village Park Commission will now come to order at 9:35. First thing is the roll call of members. So
Okay,
how do we do that?
I can do a roll call. So we'll do Co-Chair Schmidt is here. Co-Chair Lynch,
Here via Zoom.
Commissioner Finger,
Here.
Commissioner Hall,
Here.
Commissioner Smith, Commissioner Anderson,
Here.
and Commissioner Morrow is not here at this time, but we do have a quorum.
Okay, thank you. Pledge of allegiance will skip since no one is here in the audience. Introduction of the new member. If you'd like to stand up, or you don't have to stand up, and just tell us your name and where you live and how many years and a little something about yourself.
Okay, my name is Sarah Anderson, and we lived in Cherry Hill almost 4 years on Cherry Hill Drive. And we've lived in Denver for 9 years, and before that, lived in Holland. And I'm originally from the East Coast. I was a teacher there for 10 years in the Philadelphia School District. Involved in the art community in Denver. I'm a watercolorist and belong to several organizations, and looking forward to spending some time with you all and installing some great art, and I'm really looking forward to it.
Welcome. Thank you. Welcome.
Thank you. Thank you.
Let's see, no audience participation, obviously, so consent agenda, the approval of the minutes from the last meeting.
I move that the minutes be approved.
Anybody second that?
I second.
The minutes are approved.
You may say anyone opposed or all for and all opposed. Take a vote.
Is what?
Just to give anyone opportunity to vote no.
Oh, does anyone want to vote no? No?
Okay.
Okay.
Thanks.
Next. Approve the minutes, the items removed from the consent agenda. I don't know that there are. Okay. Up to unfinished business. The City Hall permanent sculpture. Hopefully everybody noticed it when they came in.
That looks great.
Yeah, I think the installation went really, really well. Alberto is a super nice guy. And it was fun to, there were a couple of us here, and it was just fun to watch the whole installation process. And he handled it very, very nicely. I think it's just, I don't know, I'm very pleased, I think, and I think you've gotten good comments on it.
Yeah, we've had people coming into City Hall and staff members and council members commenting on it. So yeah, all positive.
Great. That's good. So everything really went. Right. Right. That was a biggie. But yeah, we should all be proud of it. I think the decision we made to acquire that sculpture was excellent. So thank you all.
So, and staff just had the question about a plaque. We normally get a plaque and there's a picture in here in the packet. But Kendall, our art consultant, had mentioned the possibility of putting some kind of link or indication about the video that is going to be made about the sculpture on the plaque. And I'm not quite sure how that would work, but we wanted to talk about that with you guys, get some direction before we ordered the plaque with just the typical information, if there's any interest from the commission of putting additional information on there.
Allison, do you have any ideas on that?
Yeah, I think Kendall had mentioned, I don't remember if she had said doing a almost like a QR code on the plaque, which would link to the video. I don't know if that's a little bit too high tech for us, but maybe we could have a little note that says, you know, for more information about this piece, visit the Cherry Hills Village Art Commission, you know, page on the city website or something to that effect.
Allison, this is Pam. You know, I'm just wondering if she mentioned the QR code just because it's small.
Yeah.
On our lovely plaque, because I am concerned about it, like it looks nice the way we usually do it.
Uh-huh.
But if the QR code is just a little tiny square, that wouldn't bother me. And there's no question that might be, like that might just go over some people's heads. But I think more people are using them.
Yeah.
So, but it's looking forward.
Exactly. Yeah, I agree with the kind of the clean look of that for the plaque would be nice.
Okay, so
I'm personally not opposed to the QR code. I think maybe we might want to see how it's gonna look.
get a proof and maybe a quote. I don't know if it would increase the price of the
And
plaque,
also, I
so
don't know if it's, will it pick up easily on a plaque like that?
I don't know. That's a good
Yeah.
question.
I'm just wondering, you know what I mean?
Has anyone ever
Design,
used a
like, your
QR
own
code on a
mindset.
plaque?
It's just that you can read it with your phone and then
Right.
look up.
I know
So
it, usually it's paper or a sticker or something, not a, but I don't know.
Right, oh, okay, not engraved on it.
Yeah.
Maybe we can see what it looks like, and then we have a better feeling for it.
And who does our plaques? This is Kathy.
Bronze something is the company they're called, and they're not in Colorado actually. We've used them for years and they've always been really great to work with.
So they'll send us like an approval piece.
Yes. Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, so I can talk to them about it and see if they have any input on whether it'll work and do some research and make sure it'll work first, and then see if the cost will change and bring back a proof for you guys to look at.
That'd be great.
Do you have any idea where on the plaque you would want it? Since the logo is sort of on the bottom, usually we could put the QR code in one of the top corners, or we could move the logo to the top and put the QR code in one of the bottom corners. Does anyone have any preference?
Is our logo like left justified or right justified?
Center.
Or is it right in center?
It's sort of,
Oh, right, there's not much room on that side.
Well, I think maybe right justified to balance with the Cherry Hills Village Art Commission logo.
so put it on the same kind of level as the CHVAC?
Yeah,
Okay.
Yeah, and that opening, just put.
Okay. Okay, yeah, can try that. Okay, so we'll bring that back at the next meeting, more information.
Okay.
Thank you.
So anything more on the permanent sculpture? Susan Cooper Park donation. Does anyone have anything about that?
So it's the
Changes or approvals to that?
The real point of discussion is whether the Art Commission wants to accept the donation, knowing that any major repairs in the future would come out of the Art Commission's budget. It's not something the artist is setting up kind of a fund, you know, contributing funds for, or she wanted to make clear that she could do very minor repairs, but not do material replacement, that level of repair.
It wouldn't be like a weird situation where we had to move her, like, crack it or something, right? And then are we obligated to fix it?
No, once we own it. So we don't, we're actually working with her on the contract with some additional language in the case, which I think would be very rare, but in the case where the city did not want the art anymore at all, the contract currently says we have the right to destroy it because we do own it. And she wants to have the intermediary steps in there of trying to contact her or her heirs to come pick it up, or donate it to somewhere else, like a library, before the city were to destroy it. But in the case that it, you know, accidentally gets dropped or something happens and it gets destroyed and it's in pieces, then that would be a situation we would have to, yeah, evaluate then.
And I think Susan, oh, sorry, Kathy.
Go ahead, Allison, it was Pam, go ahead.
Oh, Pam. I think Susan's idea with this was that plexiglass is, you know, similar in nature to, you know, any glass, and, you know, should it be knocked off the wall or if something should happen to it, you know, it would essentially shatter into pieces. And so she was just thinking through, you know, those types of situations where she didn't want to take on the total replacement cost, but she's happy to do any, you know, minor fixes should pieces, you know, kind of fall off, you know, years in the future or whatever the case may be.
Can I ask what the donation is?
Yeah, there's a picture in the packet and it's also on the wall in the hallway. It's like a square map of the city. Sorry, it's like a square map of the city, kind of a neon green. It has the outline of the city and some streets, and then sort of a overlay of the city hall building outlines. So it was part of her art show, part of a series.
And I have one more question. I just noticed in the first art donation thing, she valued it at 3 and then she valued it at 9. Was that an insurance issue, or what was the change there for?
Yeah, I asked Allison about that too, and Allison, do you want to speak to that?
Yeah, I think so when I sent Susan the new donation agreement with the, you know, the changes in wording that we ran past the city attorney, she, if I'm remembering correctly, she just remembered that that valuation wasn't on par with the value of her work. So I don't know where in the process that came in, but that's something she realized in the second drafting of the donation agreement. So.
Okay, so yeah, but does it reinsure that piece, or?
We would insure the piece. We decided it wouldn't be that much different cost to the city, that different valuation.
That's what I was curious about.
And this is Kathy, just as an aside, all of our work with our insurance company, they insisted anything over 5,000 be insured, reevaluated or reappraised every 5 years. So make sure your insurance policy does the same.
Okay.
All right. Do we need to make the recommended motion?
Yes, please.
Would someone like to?
I move to approve the revised art donation application from Susan Cooper and recommend that City Council approve the art donation agreement with Susan Cooper.
Second?
A second.
Okay. All right.
You do all in favor, all opposed, please. All in favor, all opposed.
All right. Thank you.
And just for clarification, you just included the art donation policy just for us to remember.
Correct. Yeah, just because the change was kind of a question of cost, and our donation policy addresses that a little bit.
Item is the next part.
So we have 3 people who have submitted photos. The deadline is August the 3rd, so there's nothing left for us. There's nothing at this meeting for us to do. When the deadline passes, Jessica and I will meet and kind of determine what pieces might be appropriate. And if we have a lot, my understanding is if we have a lot, we will move the horse piece. That's the horses that are right in front on that wall. That'll get moved to the side, and the art exhibit will go on that wall and then down this hallway. If we don't have enough, it might just be this little hallway. We'll just have to see after the 3rd. Okay. And there's nothing for the commission for us to do today. This is just like, here we go. And we haven't gotten anything more than a 3, have we, Jessica?
Just the 3.
I have a question. Do we do a call out to artists to submit work, or how do they know that the deadline's the 3rd?
It's been in the Cherry Hills Village news, the crier, for
Okay.
the last 2 months, 3 months.
3 months.
And the,
Okay,
and
I don't see it.
yeah,
Just looking.
and it's called Colorado Through the Lenses, and we're asking for photographers who live in the village or who have lived in the village for a number of years. Maybe they've become famous, like there's one person that has a piece that is pretty well known as a photographer, but they've lived here in the village and.
And if you look in the packet too, there's just a little blurb. In your documents, it's right out there.
Okay.
Yeah, just so you can see what it's like. That's
Sorry,
the
I meant
copy
to
of
do
that's what's
that.
been in the paper.
Oh, yeah, they're just, very good.
Sorry, I was supposed to be doing this the whole meeting. I totally forgot. There we go.
So that's what it was. That was well, wasn't it?
All right. Next item is the project, Cherry Hills Land Reserve.
Yeah, okay, so, we were to meet, with the Cherry Hills Land Preserve, and, Anne Marie and Shenley and I were going to meet with Kathy, the executive director. And that meeting, through some difficulties, got moved back. I did talk with Kathy with the Land Preserve about what they wanted to do. I mentioned about the bird houses, which I thought was a great idea. And they just have not gotten back to me. So, right at this point in time, and it just sounds like they're in a state of flux with them not being able to have their fundraiser to raise money. So I think this is probably one item that can just go on the back burner and not be brought up unless the Land Preserve comes back to us.
Okay.
Thank you, Kevin. Next item is the liaison assignments. And I think we've got the updated list in our packet. Are there any questions or changes to be made to that?
Well, I just wanted to see if we want to put Sarah on there since she is our newest member and is not on here yet.
True. Yeah, we could definitely do that. I guess, I don't know, who's,
Maybe.
Dave, you're on the city council list twice, so if you want to give up one.
You could take one of those if you'd like.
And Sarah, that really just comes up when stuff is going to council, then sometimes you'll contact your council liaison ahead of time.
I was wondering if you do make the switch, I have a relationship with Katie, maybe I could do Katie.
Sure.
And then Sarah could do Ashton. Ashton?
Yep.
That would be nice, Sarah, but I don't, it's not a big deal.
Is that okay, Sarah?
That's fine.
Okay.
He's a good nice guy.
Yeah, that's really nice.
Okay, so we'll make that change. Michelle is with Kathy, okay. Katie, I mean. Anything else, any other changes that we want to make to this?
Yeah, up to you guys for that second category, if you're interested in switching it up or not.
You are more than welcome to take one of mine, Cherry Hills Land Preserve for the Highline Conservancy, if you wish.
Yeah, you're on twice as well.
Yeah, and Allison's on twice for the Sampler Act and Agreement Village Courtesy of the Arts. Yeah.
The Sampler app is kind of a, no work associated category. So I'm perfectly fine being on twice. No need to change that up.
All right. Any other changes you want to relinquish one of yours?
Yeah.
I don't know what this is related to or what that is. Am I a connection to the?
Yeah, a liaison. So if we were to do, like Kathy's been in coordination with the land preserve for projects to do with them. And then the Highland Canal Conservancy, I guess that hasn't really been a thing for a while,
Well,
but.
what the Highline Conservancy is interested in is when the trail gets continued onto the other side of Hamden. They, the new project, they are interested in perhaps some kind of artwork in the tunnels, near the tunnels, something like that. So that's, okay. And of course, we have to be careful with the horse people, because the horses, if they're in the tunnel, they don't want woolly stuff. But that's what's going on with the Highline is that eventually maybe some coordination of if there's art, can we participate, or at least can we have a say from the Cherry Hill side?
Okay.
Great.
If you'd like that, good.
Okay. All right. Thank you, guys.
On the Highland Canal Conservancy. Yeah. Okay. Any other changes? That's probably it. All right. New business, virtual fundraiser.
Oh,
We didn't have a page for the virtual fundraiser.
I apologize. I missed putting that in the packet. Let me see if I have a memo. I do. Okay, this was my very simple memo that did not make it into the packet. My apologies. So just y'all discussing a possible virtual fundraiser.
So what is this is Allison, this is Kathy. What is your desire? Have you guys thought anything about a fundraiser at all?
I don't think we've talked about, how I wouldn't even know how to approach this. I think at the last meeting, was it Gay who mentioned that she had participated in a well-attended fundraising event virtually? I think she mentioned something about that. So maybe we get some feedback if anyone on the commission or anyone that has participated in a virtual fundraiser. Maybe we could steal some ideas from people, because I kind of wouldn't even know where to start with something like that. Does anyone have any ideas?
No.
With our school at Cherry Hills Village Elementary, half of the auction is live, and the other half of the auction, we put up all the auction items online and people can bid. What that would entail is all of us going out to the community and asking for restaurant gift certificates or jewelry or experiences. I don't know if people are doing that right now or if they feel comfortable giving stuff out. So it's kind of awkward right now.
Yeah, I don't think people aren't going out. Is there a way to put a donation envelope in one of the criers? And just do it like where we don't have to work, just send something.
I think I'd have to talk to our council liaison about that. Typically, the only envelope that we've done is for the crier itself. We've never had another donation envelope, and I wouldn't want it to be confused, people thinking they're donating for the crier and they're going to be on the crier donation list when it was really for the art commission.
Yeah.
So I meet with him monthly. I can talk to him at our next meeting for the September issue and kind of get his feedback from that if you'd like.
And I wonder, oh, sorry, Kathy.
Oh, go ahead, Allison.
I wonder if we can try once again. The canvases haven't worked in the past, but perhaps we could distribute those public art maps. And it's a good opportunity for kids to be outside with their families. Maybe we encourage people to go out and explore some of our public pieces, especially as the park is getting, in the last stages of being completed. And maybe we try to solicit donations from that. If you enjoyed participating in our walk through public art in our community, you're encouraged to make a donation to support the arts in this community or something like that.
This is Shirley. If we did something like that, we could say that their name would be published in the next crier, because people like recognition for their gifts.
We could do that. We could mail the pamphlet, Allison, that you handed out at one of the events, along with the donation envelope to the mailing list that we usually use for the art invitation, the art events you have.
Yeah, how do people feel about that? Because that would be, there would be a cost associated with mailing those out, but I think we also should keep in mind that we aren't having an event this year, so the costs associated with that, aren't being met in our budget. So, and we do have the little bit of money that we are trying to figure out what to do with. So maybe that's a good use of our funds, trying to build that community aspect that we've been searching for so long for.
I like that idea. Also, maybe we could include in it some kind of introduction to the new piece that we put in front.
Yeah.
Like a photo of it and a blurb about Gilberto Romero, and then the link information to the video, and
yeah.
Unless we think we're gonna get to do a dedication, which seems like we're not going to do that, so we could kind of combine it with the dedication maybe. I don't know. Because it's such a beautiful piece. And I would love for everyone to really know that it's here.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
But you'll have an article on it on this next product, right, on the.
In the August issue, yes.
The photos you've taken,
Yes.
Yeah, so we'll have something put together anyway, we can, right, just.
Pamela, do you have your copy that I can pass down to these girls of the art pieces or
I was like, this is one pamphlet, I don't know if this is the pamphlet we're talking about, but last time we included the directory in it as well, so yeah, we'll have that down.
Also, if people did donate money, we could, send out a sticker or something that says, "I support the arts," Cherry Hills Village Art Commission. I think people really like being associated with the arts, and I know in Dallas, that there are a lot of things you could identify yourself that you're a supporter of the arts, and that might be a way for people to donate money, and then people see that they care
I
about
love
arts.
that, I think that's great, yes.
With our logo.
Okay, so if we, usually when we do something like a big mailing for invitations, but in this case, the solicitation for donations, some of the commission volunteers to do all that stuffing, folding and stuffing and everything. And then we can, and I think we actually have stamps, so put everything together and then we can get them mailed, but will any of you be willing to do that?
Yeah.
Great. And I'll send out an invite to you guys, but Pamela and Shunley.
Yeah, and I can pull together a more current maybe a nicer looking, more current copy of our public art map that maybe we could utilize for mailings in the future.
Yeah, that'd be great.
I think that would be great. Especially now that the guy is gone and the new piece is in.
Mm-hmm.
And then if we do want to include the link to a video for Gusto, then maybe we wait until that's actually done and on the website to finalize everything.
Yeah, what do we think the timing is on that?
You know, I'm not sure, but I can ask Kendall when she
Okay,
thinks.
yeah,
Yeah.
okay, because I really want to play around that.
Yeah.
Great stuff.
And I'll sit down with, I'll volunteer to sit down with Allison on anything you might need.
Great. Yeah, and I'm happy to stuff envelopes. Yeah, so anyone who wants to join would be welcome.
Any writing that needs to be done, getting these pieces ready.
Great.
And Allison, you can't tell you, but your voice comes like from the sky, so when I'm talking to you, you're on high.
Awesome, okay, anything else with the, for that? All right, the next item, I guess, is the 2021 budget and projects.
So my first question is, in 2021, do we owe any more money for really? I mean, I know it goes away in July, but we're done paying the artist.
We are done paying the artist unless we choose to keep it.
Okay. And unfortunately, Kendall's not here. I wanted to ask, what happens if a Cherry Hills resident wanted to buy the piece when it was done?
I think you would negotiate with the artist directly at that point,
Or
since,
go through Kendall? Okay.
yeah, or go through Kendall, since that would be not the city.
My
And
husband-
doesn't the commission get a part? Isn't there some agreement in our sculpture on loan?
Yeah,
The city
No.
benefiting
My
from?
husband says, well, since it's used, can we get a discount?
I'm sure Wayne would argue it's even more valuable.
Yeah, wait, go back up, it says
Was it up
5%.
5%.
Oh, there it is.
5% commission on the sale price.
Mhm.
During the loan period.
Ah,
Only during the loan period.
So it's, yeah, if it's during the loan period, then that would have to be negotiated prior to the loan expiring in
Yeah,
June.
that we wanted, so I, when next time I see Kendall, I can have her start working.
Okay.
Well, we'll see how much it costs. I just said that we think that. For Shenley and Sarah, this is my bailiwick. I just love the budget and numbers, so I'm probably not gonna shut up here. So Jessica, we need to submit a budget for city council.
Correct.
Okay, can you, Laura, pull up that page with the numbers on it, with that, there we go.
And the budget we prepared assumes that the art donation account will stay exactly as it is right now. So if you don't do a virtual, what were we calling it? Fundraiser, thank you, virtual fundraiser and getting additional funds, it's assuming the art donation account would stay exactly as it is. And then also that the commission would be funding all of the projects that you typically fund without any carryover. I didn't want to assume that city council will approve the carryover, so this excludes a carryover that we would have from this year to next.
Yeah, that's, when I sat down with this, that's what I kind of looked for. So Sarah, just to let you know, generally, we have asked the city for, we have asked the city for $21,000. And that's what we have been getting. There's always the shot, and Jessica can clarify this, that if it's a bad economic time, they can pull that back. But we would still want to present a budget of $21,000. There is what's it called, an art donation account, and that got started back when the commission did Charlie, the horse sculpture from Butterfield. And since then, when we have our fundraisers, that money doesn't go into the city fund, it goes into our donation account that we can control, and we usually, and in case the city like cuts us off completely, we'll need that kind of money for maintenance of the public sculptures and anything else, yeah, like really got tough with this, with this COVID and economic downturn. Yeah, there could be a good shot that we get down to very low amount, So what I did when we got our packets is I kind of looked at what Jessica has put together in categories as to what we could ask this, what $21,000, what we could ask the city for, into what categories that would make the most sense for the city and to be the best for the community, what would be justified in this strong economic downturn. So the first thing was the maintenance for the city-owned art. And that comes to like $650, not a lot, but that's important. And to keep and maintain the art that we have to have that in the budget. The second one was a permanent piece. I'm going to jump down a little bit just for my rationale. A permanent piece for the John Meade Park. And as you can see, it's just being done really well. Usually our sculptures are a lot more expensive than I put 15,000. But this is something that I'm looking at over on this side. Everybody has their own opinions, but that fits into this park's theme. Either we saw one sculpture with the mama duck and the ducks walking behind it down here by the park, or a great blue heron, or even a park bench, like there's some that have Einstein, or someone where there's a bronze bench that people can sit at and enjoy the park. It would not be a major piece, a major installation, but a permanent piece that would add fun and interest. I think the city, a permanent piece with all this new work being done would be a great idea. I put 15,000. And then I also put the community or the annual event at $5,265. And I could justify that to city council because that's a community building event. In essence, you're bringing, even though it's a fundraiser for us, it is a way for the community to come together. That total is $20,915. So that just makes our 21,000 perfect.
That doesn't include Kendall.
That's right.
Okay.
I would put Kendall her 8,000, which hasn't been 8,000, but I would put Kendall then coming out of the art donation fund.
Okay.
That we would take care of that piece. And but unfortunately, that means that there is no sculpture on loan in 2021. And I mean, we could do it, but it really takes down our reserves, and that just leaves me a little bit nervous.
Okay.
I mean, we could do it, we would take down our donation fund to $5,000, and I'm just not comfortable with that.
And it's possible with the annual event, there have been donations in the past, donations for the invitations and the valet and the food, as you know. So this budget assumes that we will not have those donations. So it's possible that there might be some flexibility, but probably not for a sculpture on loan.
That's right.
And Kathy, I just want to make sure that everyone's thinking about for the permanent piece in John Meade Park, in addition to the money that gets paid for the piece, there's installation costs and engineering and the plaque and those kinds of other costs.
Right. So that was my idea of what to propose to City Council.
Yeah, I think that's great.
And then, like I said, in Kendall, like currently Kendall, we have an $8,000 budget with Kendall, and we had that, to Shenley and Sarah, we had that amount because when we first brought her on, we had no master plan for the art commission. We had we were like floundering. Just, what do we do? How do we do it? How do we get started? How do we know what artists? In really the first year or 2 years, we needed almost all of it. And since then, she comes to the meetings to help us out with, like the art donation policy, because she's been in other cities where people wanted, she's helped write it, and helped us get really, we can send her out, but now we just haven't had to have the 8,000. So I'm thinking that unless something major comes up, we're not gonna need that we won't have to spend 8,000 out of our account.
That's what I was just wondering, because if we don't do it, our own piece, a lot of the work she's done for us, not all of it, like you said, she brings her expertise in all kinds of ways, but the lion's share of it has been the acquisition of a new piece or the decision over what next piece to do on loan. So if we don't have the art on loan piece this year, we've just done the major acquisition and the Shawnee part is not coming up. Maybe we can reduce your budget, or should we not? And take less out of the art donation account? Well, I'm with you, I'm very committed to that art donation account right now, because we're not gonna have our annual event, and those are usually really successful.
Yeah, so, Jessica, when we pay her, if we pay her now out of our art donation account, it's just, you just write a check to her monthly, or?
Right, so she submits an invoice for expenses for the month, and then that's what we pay. So you can leave her budget no more than $8,000. That's what it says in her contract that we've signed with her. So we do have to stick to the $8,000. It's no more than $8,000. We sign that annually unless you choose to renegotiate that contract with her. Since it is an annual contract, next year we can negotiate that with her. But this year it would be $8,000, and it's like $575 that we've spent right now. So if those are the projects that you're looking at doing next year, then probably the acquisition of the John Meade Park permanent sculpture would be the majority of the work, along with a possible video. Since that's what she's working on right now for Gusto. We haven't gotten that invoice yet, but we told her $1,500, so it'll be a little bit more for that.
So to answer your question, Helen, I just don't see her spending 8,000. I would have it, but we know in our donation account we have it.
She's so reasonably priced to start.
Can I ask, how much money is usually raised during the annual event?
It depends on how many people attend the event. We'd have to pull the numbers. The donation is for the tickets, so the ticket sales that we have. And then sometimes people they know they're not going, so they'll purchase a ticket, but they're not actually attending the event, or they'll just make a donation, just a blanket donation.
I think last year we made between 10 and 11,000, but the year before was 4. So.
And last year's event was really.
Was that actually?
It was right, we parked here, so we didn't need ballet. We had to walk up the street to the Abrams house, and we had the dedication to this piece, so it was.
Yeah, last year we received $11,775.
Because we have the new town hall piece, and we have all this. It's a shame not to be able to use the whole new town hall and have a big party. Maybe next year, so we can do that. We can always do it. I mean, you don't have a dedication, it doesn't matter. We could wait till the park is done and this whole COVID thing is over and have something out on the patio here and still do an introduction to the new piece and have the sponsors and all that.
I was telling Shinley that our biggest frustration prior to COVID was that now when we do a fundraiser, we have to have a liquor license. And so if you have it at a private home, then that person has to have a sign, big sign, out in front of their house for 10 days. And I'm not sure there's going to be a Cherry Hills house that wants to do that. But anyway, so that was our big frustration, and now that seems minor.
Yeah, we can do it here. It'll be beautiful.
Okay, so Jessica or Laura, do we need kind of a motion or just say what we want to submit our budget, or how do we do this?
Maybe just an agreement that that all of you are on the same page. So we will take out the sculpture on loan program to make sure that staff's on the same page, the commission's on the same page. So
We can bring it back next time
yeah, we can put an updated budget in the packet for next time.
to make sure that.
That sounds good.
All right, so that's the budget. So I think,
Well,
we have these extra pages.
for the crier, the next issue that we'll be working on is September, and I believe we were going to do sort of a biography of all of our new members. Are we still planning to do that?
I think I'd like to have the new members submit a little, little blurb about themselves. I think it's a good introduction to the community, and also might, get some new people interested if they see, oh, my neighbor Shenley or my friend Sarah, are on the commission and now I'm interested. So I think it's a good thing to do.
I remember this morning when I was driving in that we owed that to you.
When's the
The deadline will be the 14th of August. So I will send you what we've done in the past for previous commissions, and that way kind of the information that we've published before, and just give you the reminder of the deadline.
So our next meeting is set for Monday, August 31st. And then we talk about the schedule,
Yeah, if you all, I can do that. I can send out a doodle poll to everyone so you can indicate your availabilities. Does anyone have any? I would usually stick with a 9:30 a.m. time on just different days. If that works for everyone, I can put together some options. Okay, I'll send that out.
All right. Any other reports?
Do you have anything for us on the finance?
I do not. The only thing that I added at one of our previous meetings, we discussed adding lighting to the area where Really is now. So if we put additional sculptures over there, they can be lit. I talked to the Public Works Director, and he thinks that's going to be a little more expensive than the lighting that we did for Gusto, because it was already pre-wired for lighting. We just had to purchase the light itself. Over where Really is, we do have to do a little bit more work to get it lit. So he thinks that it'll be about $750. So I included that in the budget for this year. And timing wise, he thinks he can add it to their fall schedule. So probably sometime August or September, and they'll install the light there.
Can you, Laura, go down to that page where Jessica's talking about the expenses? I think it's like the very, very last page of it. There you go. Okay. So 3 squared, and so here's all of our expenses so far. You can see that our art commission donation account at the top, we started out with 42,000 something. And then our share of Gusto and our installation and all that other stuff was subtracted from that. So we have 26,000 left in the art donation account. On the other side of that column, we had started out with 21,000 from the city. Here's what we spent. And as you can see, 3 squared, which is Kendall, there hasn't been much because we just haven't done much. We still have 7,000 left in her account, and I'm not sure we're going to get through all of that. And then there's the production of Gusto and the lighting for Really. And we end up with funds of 9,961. It's going to be more than that because we're not going to be spending 7,000 for Kendall. So this is where the money for the brochures, the mailing, the stamps, all of that will come out of. And what we don't spend out of that 21,000, we technically have to give it back to the city. Yeah. So, the game plan is, once we submit our 21,000 budget for next year, if we could ask them if they have enough money to roll over anything for a permanent sculpture, do a better job of a permanent sculpture in the main park, or we could start thinking about a piece on loan.
Yes.
Yeah, so that's where the money, all these different pots, how to understand it. Did I explain that right, Jessica?
You did. Ideally, what we're trying to ask City Council for, we're trying to keep the ending funds available at $10,000. So it's just under that right now, but again, we're not going to use all $7,000 for Kendall. So what I'm planning to do is put $10,000 into, an additional $10,000 into the budget for next year. So instead of 21, it would be 31. And the game plan would be to have everybody on the commission reach out to their liaison to explain what we're doing, why we're asking for an extra $10,000, and sort of prepare them for budget discussions. They get a draft version of the budget in September, their second meeting in September. And then we have a study session on it at the first meeting in October, and then another one in November and one in December. So ideally we would have a finalized budget before the September meeting, so I can give that to them.
Thanks.
All right. Anything else? That's the end of the list. So the meeting is officially adjourned.